Today we're going to learn how to tune your instrument using these fine tuners that are down at the bottom of a violin, viola, or cello. They're the easiest way to take care of tuning your instrument and the safest way, because once we start messing with the pegs that are up here, you always run the risk of possibly over tightening and snapping a string, or not getting it in quite the right spot and having your string fall off. And then you've got a little bit more of a problem to deal with. So today what we're dealing with is just with these fine tuners down here at the bottom of the instrument attached to the tailpiece. They are the easiest to go with. So I'm going to show you two different ways today on using two different types of tuners. First is using a Snark tuner like this, and there's a lot of tuners out there that are very similar to using this Snark tuner. Most of them are using sound. They're using a microphone on a device, or this Snark tuner uses vibration. So this actually gets clipped onto our instrument. You can really clip it any place up here on the scroll. My favorite spot to put it is right here over the nut. I'm going to take it and clip it over top of the nut, just like this. And you want to make sure that when you clip it, that you leave the strings where the strings are able to freely vibrate. If you push it down too far, or you put it like this, you're going to clamp down the strings and the sound's not going to work correctly. So you want to clamp it over top of the nut, just like that. As I do this, you're going to see that the needle changes here. If the note is in tune, the needle points straight up, and this point shows like a greenish bluish color, and that means that the note is in tune. You also want to make sure that it is starting with the correct string. If I pluck that E string, you see it says E on the tuner. Best way to always tune is to tune using a bow, because as you use the bow, you're going to get a lot more consistent sound out of it, especially if you're using a microphone tuner. So as I play this, you'll see, I'm going to turn this tuner just a little bit here. You're going to see it shows E and is pointing straight up. So that means that that note is in tune. As I go to the A string, which you should always start off with the A string, work your way down and come back to that E later on. But I'm going to go to the A string next, and as I go to the A string, you see it says A. But you see it's showing up a little bit on the low side, okay? It's showing up over here in the red. So if the needle is pointing off to the right, what you're going to do is off to the left rather, you're going to take the fine tuner and you're going to turn it righty-tighty, okay? Righty-tighty, turning this way on the fine tuner, and I'm going to do 1 or 2 turns, and then I'm going to check it again. And I see I'm closer to the center, but not quite there yet. So I'm going to go a little bit further along. A great way to check this is pretend that your fine tuner's right here where the letter is. And if it's this way, you need to turn the fine tuner the same way to get that needle to point straight up. I'm almost there, so I do another turn with the fine tuner clockwise. Boom. And there I am going straight up again, okay? I'm going to move on to the D string now. And as I do the D string, you're going to notice now it still says D, but it's going the other direction. So I'm going to do it the opposite direction. The needle is pointing this way. So I want to turn the fine tuner counterclockwise, lefty-loosey, to bring that string back down to pitch. Still a little bit too high. Take another turn or two. I'm almost there. Another turn counterclockwise. And there, I actually over-tuned it. So every once in a while, you're going to be just turning, and then find out you've gone a little bit too far. So then I need to go back the opposite direction. Okay, last thing here, I'm going to pull up my G string, and if you look here, that doesn't say E, or that doesn't say G, that says F sharp. So that means that this is really, really out of tune. So even though it's on the yellow side, I actually am really, really flat. So I need to go clockwise to bring that up to pitch. You might end up that you run out of adjustment room in these fine tuners, and then you're going to have to move to tuning with the pegs. Tuning with the pegs is really a parent job. F sharp, it's flat. I'm going to go clockwise, 2 big turns, and check it again. Now I see it's finally saying G, just really flat, so I'm going to bring it up even further. I'm almost there. And I'm back where it belongs again. I'm going to show you next how to use one of my favorite apps for both iPad and Android devices, and that is called Tonal Energy. So now I'm going to show you one of my favorite tuner apps. This is called the Tonal Energy Tuner. I'm going to put a link to this down in the description of this video. But this is a very powerful tool, and it's really not a bad price. First off, down here, if you look at the bottom of the screen, it has the tuner, which we're going to be the thing that we're going to use in this video. It has a sound generator that you can sit there and I can hear the different sounds of my strings. Moving back here to the tuner, you're going to tune the same way that you did with either our microphone tuner that had a needle on it or with the Snark Tuner. It just looks a little bit different on the Tonal Energy Tuner. On the Tonal Energy Tuner here, as I tune, you're going to see here the letter pops up, but instead of it being a left to right thing, it's going to be a flat or a sharp thing. So we start off with the A string, and as it's flat, the arch is below, and you see the flat symbol there. That means I need to go clockwise on the fine tuner. I'm going to take that fine tuner, do clockwise a couple turns, righty-tighty, and I'm right there in the middle. I get a nice smiley face. I go onto my D string, and that's the opposite. That is sharp, so I'm going to go counterclockwise, lefty-loosey, to bring it down right there to the middle. You'll see it's going to turn green someplace between, if you notice the numbers popping up underneath the letter, at about 10 cents plus or minus, it's going to turn green, but that's really not where you want to have it. You want to have it within 5 cents, or preferably as close to 0 as possible. So there my A is a little flat. When I get there to about 0 cents, then the smiley face pops up. So that's the way to finish tuning using the fine tuners and the Tonal Energy app.